Very good morning, dear children. Dear children, we are going to start with our civics chapter 4, and the name of the chapter is Understanding Laws. Fine, children. Now, you might have heard about different laws. Like, we have a law in our country about the age of marriage. The boy should be of what age, and the girl should be of what age. You might have heard about this law. Then you would have heard about a law which is the uh, age of voting. Fine. At what age the person can vote. There are so many laws, children. When you buy a property, when you sell a property, you refer different laws. So in the same way, we have a lot of laws in our country, and in the previous chapter you have already aware of that the parliament is the charge of making law. Fine. So now we are going to discuss in this chapter that these laws, whatever law is applied, I mean whatever law is made, is it applicable for everyone? Fine. And how a law is made, and could there be laws that can be unpopular and controversial, means the laws which are good for one person and it's not in the favor of the other person, so it can be controversial also sometime. Now, what the citizen should do under such circumstances if they have controversial laws? Now, children, the first topic is, do laws apply to all? So you are also grown ups now, and you are also aware of what is happening around you, what is happening in your country. So do you think that the laws apply to everyone, or a person who's government official is there and he can hide his son because the son is given 10 years of jail? So, do you think that the government official or any wealthy person, well to do person, can not follow the law? So, it's not like that. Whosoever is the person, fine, whatever law is there, everyone has to follow it. Whatever decision the court takes, you have to follow that. Fine. So we can't violate the law. If you are not means abiding by the laws, means you are violating the laws. Fine. So in the above example just now which I discussed, it's a sort of violation of law. If a government official is hiding his son to not to go for this 10-year jail, so he is violating the law, children. Now, children, see, constituent assembly. Fine. Now the members of constituent assembly, they agreed to be no arbitrary. Arbitrary means there should be logic behind every law. No law should be unlogical and like that. So that is arbitrary. And exercise of power in independent in India, so it should be exercised. Whatever law is passed, it should be exercised, and it should have some basis, some logic behind it. Fine. They therefore instituted several provisions in the constitution that would establish the rule of law. So there are so many uh, there are so many rules established, so many provisions are there. The most important of these was that all persons in independent India are equal before the law. So the most important is the that everyone is equal before the law. Fine. So the law cannot discriminate between the persons on the basis of their religion, on the basis of their caste, their gender. So law is for everyone. Everyone is equal before the law. What the rule of law means? What does it means actually? Just see. So the rule of law means is that all laws apply equally to all citizens of the country, and no one can be above the law. So the rule of law means that every law is applied to everyone and no one is above the law, whether the person is, whether the person is any official, a wealthy person, and whether the person is the president or prime minister of the country. Everyone has to follow the law, have to, respect the law, obey the law. Any crime or violation of law has a specific punishment, children. There is a specific process if anybody is not abide by the laws or any violation of the law. So there are specific punishments for that. So the person which is at guilt, that had to face those consequences. Fine. Now children, if we say that it was not every time like this in the ancient India, there were innumerable, and there were so many laws which were not applicable, on a, right side. There were some laws which were on the basis of discrimination. Fine. Now different communities, they enjoy different degrees of autonomy. Like, see, now it can be the case that the punishment that two persons receive for the same crime can be different depending on their caste background. If someone is from high caste, for the same crime, his punishment will be different, and for the same crime, if a person is belonging to a lower caste, the punishment will be different. Fine. So this was the case in ancient India. Fine. Now this slowly began to change at this system of law began to further evolve during the colonial period. So people say that it was during the colonial period, means it was during the British rule, that this thing stopped. Fine. But the historians, they say that it's not the reason. Fine. British colonialist, who means people believe that they were the British colonialists, those who introduced the rule of law in India. Rule of law, I just now I told you that everyone is equal before the law. So means it is believed that Britishers have started that, but our historians dispute. They had a dispute in it. They give us several claims to us. So there are two things, two grounds. So the first is the colonial law was arbitrary. Their laws were their self arbitrary, means they were not, equal for all. Discrimination was there during the colonial period. And the second, that the Indian nationalists played a prominent role in the development of legal sphere in the British India. So we have discussed in history, children, how they were just suppressing our people of our country. So how can we say that the British laws were very equal? They were not equal at all, children. Fine. So it was our nationalist, Indian nationalist people, those who played a very important role in making such laws. Fine. Now see, if we just take example of Sedition Act 1850, which was a British law. So see, what was the idea? It was broadly understood within the act. See, you can easily understand what they say. The person, any person who is protesting or criticizing the British government can be arrested without a due trial. So just see, how can we say that their laws were very, their laws were equal to all? They were not equal at all. Fine. So, and moreover, you have seen so many examples in the history also. So Indian nationalists began protesting and criticizing the arbitrary use of authority by the British. Now people, they started, protesting against that. You are not using your authority in a better way. They also began fighting for greater equality and wanted to change the idea of law for a set of rules, as they were forced to obey. Now they were forced to obey such laws, such rules to law, and including ideas of justice, and they wanted the idea of justice included in that. Now by the end of 19th century, children, there was Indian legal profession also began emerging and demanding respect in colonial courts. Now, the legal professionalists, they also started, demanding. They began to use law to defend the legal rights of the Indians. Even Indian judges, they played a very important role in making the decisions. So, therefore, children, there were several ways in which Indian played a major role in the evolution of rule of law during the colonial period. So, we can't say that these were the Britishers who started the rule of law. Now, one such example you can see here. See, Rowlatt Act. Now, what was there in Rowlatt Act? Now, the government to imprison people without any trial. Without any trial, they can imprison people. Even Mahatma Gandhi was not in favor of this act. Fine. Now, there were a lot of protests being held against this law. Now, what happened in Punjab? Now, two leaders, Dr. Satyapal and Dr. Saifuddin Khichlu, they were arrested, and in protest of this, people gathered in Jallianwala Bagh on 13 April. Fine, now you just know about the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. So, General Dyer, with his troops, what he did, he, blocked the only way to Jallianwala Bagh, and he opened up fire on the people. So many people died in that, and it was known as Jallianwala Bagh massacre, and it is known till now. People, remember it till now. So, can you say that at the British colonial time the laws were very nice or the laws were very good? No. With the adoption of constitution, this document served as a foundation of our representatives began making laws for the country. So, now what does this constitution say? Now, our representatives, whom we have represented, elected, they are going to make such laws for us. So, they are, going to check our favor. They are going to see. Now, every year, our representative pass several new laws. Fine. As well as amendment. Amendment means changes are done in the existing ones and new laws are passed. Fine. You have read in class 6 also about Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005. According to that law, the law that sons, daughter and their mothers, they can get equal share in the family property. Now, similarly, children, there are many new laws which have been started just to control pollution and to provide employment to people. So, as per requirement, the laws are passed, and as per requirement, the laws are, they are amended also. Amendments are done, changes are done in that. How do new laws come about? Now, how do the new laws take place? Now, see, the parliament has a very important role in making laws, you all know. So, there are many ways, children, through which this take place, and even different groups in the society that raise the need of particular law. So, people give stress. They give stress on this, that the law should be passed for this thing. So, the reason behind then the law takes place. Fine. Now, important role of parliament is to be sensitive to the problems faced by the people. Now, parliament should, they should understand the problem of the people, and they should take this issue in a sensitive way. Fine. Now, let us just take example of domestic violence. Fine. How it brought attention of the parliament and the process, how it was means adopted to issue this law. Now, what is domestic violence, children? It refers to the injury or harm or a threat of injury or harm caused by an adult male, usually a husband, against his wife. So, domestic violence, when there is violence in your home. Fine, like husband is beating his wife ruthlessly. So, that comes under the domestic violence. Fine, either he is injuring her or threatening her. So, it can be any case. Fine. Now, children, see what happens now. Abuse of women can also include verbal, it can be verbal abuse, it can be sexual abuse, it can be economic abuse, any sort of abuse. See, the Parliament of Women for Domestic Violence Act 2005, this act is passed, the Protection of Women and for Domestic Violent Act. It was passed in 2005. So what does it means? The term domestic, what does the domestic means? That the woman is living or have lived together in a shared household. When you are living in a shared household with a male member who's perpetrating the violence, so then this act is applicable. Now see, two ladies, they are talking, the day is October 2006. Now they are talking about the law, fine, which has taken place about violence free homes. Now they are discussing that this law is very, this act which is passed is very very good, very very helpful. Even it will benefit a lot of people, not only the ladies but others also, fine. Now these two ladies, Kusum and Shazia, children, they are a woman, they work for women organization. So now they are just remembering the journey of this law, how this act was passed. Now see, April 1991, they go back to their memory. Now it was their day that when two ladies come to them, that one lady says that my husband is beating me every day and I am really fed up of this. So what can I do? I don't want to go to the police. So what should I do? Then old woman is there. The old woman says that my son and my daughter-in-law, they behave badly with me, and they have taken all my property and all, and now they have thrown me out of my house. Now this lady, she really, she was very moved by their situation. But the lady says that I don't have any act like this for which I can ask you for. It's a criminal case, so you have to, it's a criminal one and you have to go to the police. You don't have any other options. But these two ladies, they don't want to go to the police. They want their matters settled in some other way, in a civil way. Fine. Now see, throughout 1990s, the need of new law was raised. Different people, they raised their voices for this law to be passed. Now 1999, the lawyers, they also collectively they protested for this. Then the law students, they were also there. They all wanted to get this law passed, fine. Now they all are discussing what to do, how to do, meetings are being held, fine. Now what happens, finally a bill was introduced in the parliament in 2002. Now they are discussing about this. They are saying that this bill does not have whatever we said. The suggestions are not being taken up in this bill. So what did they do then? They start protesting again that we do not want this bill. We want some changes in that. Fine. Now what happened in 2002? The committee is there. You know that the bill passes through Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Ultimately, after so much of linger on, fine, what happens in 2006, October 2006, this bill was passed. So all are discussing that it is going to benefit ladies, this and that. So this way the bill was passed. Now see the above example, the role of citizens. See, the citizens are playing a very crucial role in helping parliament in different concerns. Now it is the people who are telling the parliament, fine, and they can tell their problems through different ways, fine. It can be TV, it can be newspaper, It can be editorial, radio, local meetings, anyway. The Now all of which help in making work that Parliament does more accessible and transparent to the people. So this way the people can easily, uh, you know, uh, show the Parliament that this all is required. Now, one such example you have seen in, uh, you know, uh, unpopular and controversial laws that we are going to discuss. So, right hand side, just see, it was the Civil Right Act, Civil Right Movement. And who started the Civil Right Movement? Rosa Parks. We have discussed in class 7. What did she do? She she refused to give the seat in a bus to a white person. So from here the movement started, and ultimately a Civil Right Act was passed in 1964, in which discrimination on the basis of race, religion, or national origin in India was totally prohibited. Now, children, last topic is unpopular and controversial laws. Now, children, there are some laws which are unpopular and controversial. Fine. Now we are going to discuss about that. How sometimes the parliament passes a law that can be unpopular, means that is not liked by the people. Now, see, it is sometimes constitutionally valid and legal, but it cannot be continue to be unpopular, and people are not accepting. Why? Because people feel that the intention behind it is unfair and harmful. See, people might criticize the law, hold public. Now to say no to that law, what can they do? They can hold public meetings, they can write in the newspapers, they can report in the TVs channels and all, because in a democracy like ours, citizens are very open to express their unwillingness to the repressive laws, the laws which they think that is suppressing them. So such laws can be easily uh, changed or amended by the parliament. So this is one such law. If you say that the municipal committee says that the vendors and all, they should not roam around, and they should not make their shops on the roads and the pavements. So the idea behind this is that municipality wants the roads to be broad, so that people can easily use the roads, they can walk on the pavements and all. But if we see the other side, see these vendors or the hawkers, from where they are going to get their bread and butter then, if this law will be passed. And moreover, these people, they make our work also easy, and they provide us vegetables, fruits and all that on cheap rates. So it is somewhere not good for us also. So sometimes the laws which are passed by the parliament can be unfair for us. So from our point of view it can be unfair, but from their point of view it can be fair. So there are so many ways in which people can protest. Now, children, we need to remember that our role as a citizen, it is not ending by electing our representative. Rather, we should begin to use, you know, newspaper and media to carefully chart the work that is being done by the MPs. We have to check out what our MPs are doing, and if they are doing something wrong, we should definitely criticize them. Fine, whenever it is required. So we should, our involvement, the involvement and enthusiasm of people, it is that enthusiasm of people that helps parliament to perform its representatives functions properly. If we are going to participate, then only they are going to do their function properly. Otherwise they can they can start doing things which they want. So we, in a democracy, we have to take care what is happening around it, what law is being passed, what are the benefits of it, what are the demerits of it. We should always be aware of that. So this is all about the topic, children. Thank you and have a nice day.